Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will start the organic chemistry. It's the first lecture from the unit 3. Whenever we use the term organic, what comes in our mind? Our mind blooms with the compounds which are comprising of the carbon. Carbon is the essential component of all the organic compounds. Organic compounds comprising of the hydrocarbons and their derivatives. We use thousands of organic compounds in our daily life. They are carrying important chemical reactions within our bodies. Organic compounds are diverse in nature due to the three reasons. Carbon has 4 electrons in its valence shell, so it can make the 4 bonds with other atoms. And carbon also have the ability to bond to each other to form the long chains, branch chains and rings. This self-linking ability of the carbon is called the catenation. Carbon atoms join together to make the long chains. These chains may be the straight chain, they are in the form of the branches, or they may also in the form of the rings. No other elements has this ability except the silicon, but the silicon forms short chains. Only few silicon atoms join together. But in case of the carbon, it contains thousands of carbon atoms joined together make the long chains. For this reason, carbon can form almost infinite number of molecules of various sizes, shapes and structure. Second ability due to which the organic compounds are present in a vast variety is the phenomena of isomerism. Isomerism is a process or the phenomena in which compounds have same molecular formula but different arrangement of atoms in the molecule. These arrangements are called the isomers and this phenomena is called the isomerism. You can see the simple example of the butane here. Molecular formula for the butane is C4H10. It shows that this butane contains 4 carbon atoms and 10 hydrogen atoms. You can see two different arrangements of this butane. One is the N-butane in which all the carbon atoms are attached to with one another in the form of a straight chain. And second is the isobutane. In this isobutane you can see that one carbon is attached to the central carbon atom in the form of the branch. These are two different arrangements for the same compound. This process is called the isomerism. The third property due to which the organic compounds are diverse in nature are the multiple bonds. Carbon can make the multiple bonds with itself and as well as with other elements. This increases the number of organic compounds. You can see here the multiple bonds, single carbon to carbon atoms, double bond with carbon to carbon and triple bond with carbon to carbon. In the same way, this carbon can also make the double and triple bond with other elements, just like the carbon can make the double bond with the oxygen, carbon can make the triple bond with nitrogen. This also increases the diversity of the organic compounds. Now here are few general characteristics of organic compounds are given. First one is the occurrence. Most of the organic compounds come from the living things or the things that were living in the past. Secondly, covalent compounds are covalent in nature, means they have the covalent bond in their compounds, and these covalent compounds may be the polar or non-polar. Third one is the composition. As you have learned that carbon is the main constituent of all the organic compounds. Hydrogen is also present along with the carbon, and other elements that may present along with the carbon and hydrogen are the oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus or the halogens. Organic compounds are volatile in nature. Volatile in nature means they can evaporate easily. So due to this evaporation property, these organic compounds have low melting and boiling points. As I have already told you that organic compounds may be polar in nature or they may be non-polar. Non-polar organic compounds can dissolve in the organic solvents just like the ether, benzene, carbon disulfide, and polar organic compounds will be soluble in the alcohols, methyl alcohol or ethyl alcohol. Why this? You have learned that the phenomena of the like dissolve like. Like dissolve like mean non-polar will dissolve in the non-polar compounds will dissolve in the non-polar solvents and polar compounds will dissolve in the polar solvents. So due to this reason, non-polar organic compounds dissolve in the organic solvents and polar organic compound dissolve in the alcohol because alcohols are polar in nature. Organic compounds exist in close relationship with one another. This similarity in behavior has made the study of millions of organic compounds easier. And due to this similarity, these organic compounds are classified into the families. A series of the related compounds in which any two adjacent molecules differ by CH2 group is called the homolog series. It means two adjacent molecules of the same family will be differ from one another presence of only CH2 group. Two adjacent molecules will have different CH2 group. One will have more CH2 group or one will have less number of the CH2 group. So two adjacent molecules differ only due to the presence of CH2 group. This is called the homologous series. Organic compounds are less stable than the inorganic compounds, and due to this less stability, organic compounds have less rate of reaction. So their rate of reaction is slow. They slowly react with each other. As millions of organic compounds exist, so from where these organic compounds come? First one source of the organic compound is the coal. You all are well familiar of the coal. Coal is used as a solid fuel. Destructive distillation of the coal produces the coal gas, coal tar and coke. Now what is this destructive distillation? In this process, coal is heated in the absence of air and at high temperature. So in the absence of air and at the high temperature, this coal convert into the coal gas, coal tar and coke. Coal gas contain the methane, hydrogen and carbon monoxide, and these are used in the fuel industry. Coal tar is a source of many organic compounds just like the benzene and its derivatives, and in its derivatives included the xylene and phenol, and these are separated by the fractional distillation, and the residual that is left behind after the fractional distillation is called the pitch, and this pitch is used to metal the road and roofs. Benzene and derivative compounds, they are widely used in the synthetic industry to produce the plastic, dyes, drugs, fiber, paints and varnishes. Third one is the coke. This coke is a grey, hard and porous fuel. Other sources of the organic compounds are the natural gas. This natural gas is a mixture of low boiling hydrocarbons. Low boiling hydrocarbon means the hydrocarbons which will boil at very low temperature. Natural gas is mostly of methane along with the small amounts of ethane, propane and butane. Petroleum contains a wide variety of alkanes, including those having very long chains, means a large number of carbon atoms are present in those compounds. On fractional distillation, this petroleum is separated into various hydrocarbons, and these hydrocarbons which are separated by fractional distillation, they are called the fractions. And what is the how the fractional distillation of the petroleum is carried out, you will learn out in a separate topic including in the 16th chapter. Now the living organisms are also an important source of the organic compounds. Mostly the proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins and drugs, they are obtained from the plants and animals. These were the natural sources of organic compounds, and along with these natural sources, millions of organic compounds are also prepared in the laboratories, and they are being used in the medicine, cosmetics, paints, plastics and so on. Here are the important uses of organic compounds are given. You can read it clearly. And from this you can see that these organic compounds are used in our lives. They are used in almost all aspects of our life. A formula that describes the arrangement of atoms in a molecule is called the structural formula. Structural formula shows the atoms are bonded to one another in what ways. It shows the arrangement of all the atoms bonded to one another. You can see the example of ethanol and dimethyl ether. Both these compounds have the same molecular formula. Their molecular formula is C2H6O. 2 carbon atoms, 6 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atoms. Both have the same molecular formula, but the arrangement of these atoms is different in both molecules. It means they show the process of isomerism in them. In ethanol, you can see oxygen atom is directly attached to only one carbon atom, while in dimethyl ether, oxygen atom is directly attached to 2 other carbon atoms. So this structural formula actually tells us which is the compound only by seeing the molecular formula, that is the C2H6O. Both ethanol and dimethyl ether have the same molecular formula, C2H6O. From this molecular formula, we cannot know which one is the compound, but by the structural formula, by the arrangement of the atoms, we can find out that these are 2 different compounds. It may be the ethanol or it may be the dimethyl ether, and by looking at the structural formula, we can clearly find out whether the molecule is ethanol or dimethyl ether. Structural formula shows the arrangement of different atoms along the carbon. So by this here you can see the structural formula of the methane, ethane and propane. You can clearly see the position of the hydrogen atoms along this carbon chain, and their corresponding molecular formulas are given. First one is the methane, molecular formula is CH4, In case of the ethane, molecular formula is C2H6, and in case of the propane, molecular formula is C3H8. Molecular formula simply gives the total number of the atoms, number and types of atoms. But in case of the structural formula, you can see the arrangement of these elements along with one another. And when we use the abbreviations for the groups present in the chain, we write down these groups in the form of on the chain in the form of their abbreviations. We use the term condensed structural formula. Now, how can we write down this condensed structural formula? First, we have to list the main chain carbon atoms. You can consider the example of this propane here. In the propane, you can see that there are the 3 carbon atoms. First carbon have the 3 hydrogen atoms with this. So we will write down it in the form of the CH3. So second carbon atom, it has the 2 hydrogen atoms with this. We will write down it as the CH2. And again the third carbon atom, it has the 3 hydrogen atoms with this. We will write down again as the CH3. So these terminal carbon atoms, they have the 3 hydrogen atoms, and the central carbon atom, it has the 2 hydrogen atoms. We will list this as main carbon chain and along with its number of hydrogen atoms. In the same sequence, they are appearing in this structural formula. So the condensed structural formula for the propane is CH3, CH2, CH3. We have maintained the sequence of the hydrogen atoms. They are appearing along this chain. So first carbon, it is having the 3 hydrogen atoms. It is written as the CH3. Second carbon, it is having the 2 hydrogen atoms, written as the CH2, and again the last carbon atom having the 3 hydrogen atom, written as the CH3. So it is written in sequence CH3, CH2, CH3. It is the condensed structural formula for the propane. Here few examples of the alkanes are given. Their condensed formula is given: butane comprising of the 4 carbon atoms, pentane comprising of 5 carbon atoms, hexane has the 6 carbon atoms, heptane 7, octane 8, nonane 9, and decane have 10 carbon atoms. When you will write down the condensed structure formula, you can see the terminal carbon atoms, the carbon atoms which are present at the ends. They have the 3 hydrogen atoms with it, and other carbon atoms, they have the 2 hydrogen atoms. So you can write down the condensed formula for this alkane family easily by writing their main chain carbon atoms and the number of hydrogen atoms which are attached to it. What is the method for writing the structural and condensed structure formula? Consider the example of butane having the molecular formula C4H10. It shows there are 4 carbon atoms. So in the first step, you will write down the main stem number of carbon atoms in the form of the chain. In the second step, keep in mind that each carbon atom can make maximum of the 4 bonds. So by how these 4 bonds are fulfilled? By using the number of hydrogen atom. With each carbon atom, we will put the number of hydrogen atoms, and in this way we will complete the chain. Now you can see there are 3 hydrogen atoms on the terminal carbon atoms, and central 2 carbon atoms have the 2 hydrogen atoms each. So the condensed structure formula for the butane is CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. So each carbon is bonded to 4 other atoms because it can make the 4 bonds, and these 4 bonds are fulfilled by putting the hydrogen atoms on the sides. Terminal carbon atoms, they will have the 3 hydrogen atoms, and the central carbon atoms, they will have the 2 hydrogen atoms. Hydrocarbons are classified into 2 groups. One is the saturated hydrocarbons and second is unsaturated hydrocarbons. In saturated hydrocarbons, all the carbon-carbon bonds are single bonded. And the example of saturated hydrocarbons are the alkanes. They have the general formula CnH2n plus 2, and all the carbon atoms are single bonded. In case of unsaturated hydrocarbons, they are further divided into 2 bonds on the basis of their multiple bonding. One is the alkenes. In alkenes, their double bond exists between 2 carbon atoms, and general formula for the alkene is CnH2n. Second type of unsaturated hydrocarbons are the alkynes. In alkynes, there exists triple bond between 2 carbon atoms, and general formula for this alkyne is CnH2n minus 2. Here 3 examples are given for your understanding of the different type of hydrocarbons. First one is the ethane. Ethane is an alkane. General formula is CnH2n plus 2. Here you can see that in case of the ethane, there are 2 number of carbon atoms and total of the 6 hydrogen atoms. So when you will apply this Cn, n stand for the number of carbon atoms. We will put the value of this n. In case of the ethane, there are the 2 carbon atoms. When you put this value here, you will find out there are 2 carbon and H2n plus 2. So 2 multiplied to plus 2, answer will be the 6. So alkanes follow the general formula CnH2n plus 2. In case of the ethene, ethene is an alkene. It has the general formula CnH2n. Again put the value of number of carbon atoms here. They are again the 2. When you will solve this, you will get the answer C2H4. In case of the alkynes, they follow the general formula CnH2n minus 2. So again n value is 2 here. When you will solve this by putting this 2 value, you will get the C2H2. So you can easily write down the molecular formula for the alkanes, alkenes and alkynes by following their general formula. Thank you very much for listening me.